Hey everybody, Smart Silver Stacker here, and I just want to make a quick video to discuss Bitcoin and silver and some potential similarities between the two of them, not necessarily their properties, but just, how they've behaved over the past couple years and some things I've noticed, especially about cryptocurrency lately, it's just some observations I've made. It's nothing that I can say from a expert standpoint by any means. I'm not an expert on cryptocurrency. Been following them sort of as a subject of interest for a while, but I don't know too much about them. Definitely not an expert. I have done a little bit of cryptocurrency mining, very limited amount of cryptocurrency trading. Just give you my background in that, I got into cryptocurrency, I think I first heard about it back in 2010, 2011, and then at some point I had set up some mining for Litecoins, made a couple $100 in the recent ramp up, but definitely nothing significant, nothing life-changing, just kind of fun to be along for the ride. The big, what I view as potentially a bubble in cryptocurrencies. I've since traded just about all of my cryptocurrency out for physical silver. But one of the things I've noticed lately about Bitcoin is that when Bitcoin first came around and I first became aware of it and kind of got interested in it, I would try talking with some people that I knew, maybe at work or friends, and some of my buddies also thought it was interesting, but for the most part, people that I knew just as acquaintances out in the world were completely unaware of Bitcoin. When I would mention it, they would just kind of dismiss it, think it's just some weird thing, computer money or something like that. That was the idea. When you'd mention cryptocurrency and kind of explain the idea of the blockchain, people's eyes would just kind of glaze over. And that was just how it was. And I to this day will kind of get that reaction from people if I'm talking about silver or bullion or physical precious metals. I think people still have that kind of attitude about bullion. But if you talk to people about Bitcoin now, it seems like everybody's heard about it. Of course, with the recent ramp up in prices, it's gotten a lot more attention, and I think people maybe are interested in buying it now that it's so high. But of course, the time to buy it was back when no one had heard of it and all this money hadn't flooded into the market, because I mean, maybe we're not at the top. It could go a lot higher, of course. Anything could happen, but it seems like we're getting closer and closer to a top for this market. And with this just parabolic increase in the price of cryptocurrency, it's hard to imagine it's anything but a bubble. And one of the things that makes me think it's a bubble, I'm making this video because I was thinking about this today, and I work in a very average job. I work in a restaurant. I'd say that most of the people that are employed with me make very average salary, very average run-of-the-mill kind of job. And over the past couple months, I've had a few of my coworkers mention Bitcoin to me and ask me if I've heard of it and ask me what I think about it. And they start telling me that they've been going and buying Bitcoins, which, I mean, if anything's an indication of a bubble, it's when you start hearing, your common man, your average Joe, just start talking about buying something. This really makes me think of like the Tulipmania and how probably the average people just started buying tulips thinking that they're going to go up in price. It's sort of that greater fool theory of investing where the price just keeps going up and up and up, and people have no real basis for measuring the value. They just hope that it's going to continue going up. And I was thinking that today before I went to work, and I met a new guy at work today. He had come in to help me out with some stuff, and we were just kind of chatting because it was kind of a slow day. And he asked me, he said, "Hey man, do you trade stocks at all?" And I said, "Well, I don't really trade stock. I buy some and hold them here and there, but I don't really trade them." And he starts telling me about an app he has called Robinhood on his phone and how he likes to trade stocks with it and how it's cheap. And I said, "Okay, that's neat. It's just conversation." And then he asked me what I think about Bitcoin. I think that it could be going into a bubble, and I'm kind of hoping, I'm like, hey, maybe this guy's been into cryptocurrency for a while. He's got some interesting thoughts on it. But it turned out he's just telling me that the conversation went kind of along the lines of, "Hey man, I bought $50 of it last month, and it's gone up from $6,500 to $10,000, and I made $37. And I just thought, oh my God. I mean, it's just gotten to the point where every person you bump into has bought 10, 20, $50 of Bitcoin. And if that's not an indication of a bubble, I don't know what is. When you just start bumping into random strangers and they ask you what you think of Bitcoin, and they tell you that they've just bought some, and they've made whatever profits on the way up. And it strikes me that it's such a bubble. But the thing about silver is that if you talk to these same people about silver and physical silver bullion or gold, their eyes are going to probably glaze over, just like they did in the past when you would bring up Bitcoin. So I'm not saying that silver is guaranteed to be the next Bitcoin, but it's just something that I notice that silver does have that potential. It's a small market, the same way Bitcoin was, and it has the potential in the sense that there's very few people who are really aware of the potential of physical silver bullion and some of the benefits it offers as an investment. So if at some point it were to become the type of item that the average person thought would be a hot investment or something like that, it is a market that has the potential to have these kind of parabolic returns, simply in the sense that, it's like Bitcoin was in 2011, 2012, to the year 2010, where very few people are aware of it. So it's like you have a lot of people who could potentially enter the market and begin buying. So I'm not saying silver is going to be the next Bitcoin, but I do see that kind of analogous behavior. When I used to talk to people about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, they had no idea what I was talking about. They thought it was a really weird thing to be investing in. And it turned out that it was a great thing to invest in, probably specifically because people had that mindset. And that changed. So you got all of these people putting all this money into the Bitcoin market, bidding the price up, causing the price to go up so dramatically. And I don't know what the catalyst for the price of silver to do that would be, or what it would take to make the average person just become so intrigued by physical silver they are today with Bitcoin. But I do see that sort of similarity between the two markets, and just think that it is possible that if there's some kind of catalyst that drives people into the silver market, you could start seeing silver go up 100%, 200%, and one of these days people at work might start coming up to you and saying, "Hey man, have you heard of silver bullion?" So I don't know if that's going to happen, but it's just something I was thinking about earlier today, and then I kind of got this confirmation just after I was thinking about it earlier in the day. This guy comes up to me at work and starts talking to me about cryptocurrency, and it really just, I kind of had to stifle a chuckle, because I thought, this is a great indicator of a bubble, is when just people you casually know start coming up and start talking to you about purchasing an asset. So anyway, I don't know, what do you guys think? Have you had this experience where people come up and just begin chatting with you about cryptocurrency? I find it to be kind of interesting to observe. Anyway, let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great day.